Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Manual of Life. So I would like to request some of you, the students, can share what we discussed yesterday. Yes, any one of you remember what did we discuss yesterday? So we were discussing about the blissful spiritual world, isn't it? So how many of you remember what is the nature of spiritual world? What we discussed? Yes, please share something.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, in material world, everything is temporary and is filled with malice and lust and all. But in uh, spiritual world, everything is of pure consciousness, bliss, and happiness.
Yes, very nice, very good. So this
Yes.
material world is filled with all kinds of dirty things, malice, lust, envy, illusion, and that is why it is filled with all kind of miserable situation. So our real goal of life is to return to our real home. That is back home, back to God. That is our real goal of life, and that is spiritual world. And the spiritual world is completely free from all kinds of malice, dirty things, envy, illusion, lust, anger, greed. The spiritual world is filled with love, joy, happiness, dedication, and service attitude. This material world is filled with this enjoying mentality. And the spiritual world, there is serving mentality. Everyone wants to serve. Even the master wants to serve in the spiritual world. And in the material world, even the servant wants to become master. Servant wants to become servants wants to enjoy. And what is the proof? You can see anywhere. If you go to some rich man's house, and there may be many servants. So as soon as master is out, so the servant, they, as soon as they get the opportunity, they start enjoying. And what is their enjoyment? The enjoyment is they take rest, sufficient rest, sleep. They sleep, then eat whatever is remnant is there. So whatever they can, without risking their job, whatever best in whatever best way they can enjoy, they want to enjoy. That is the mentality in the material world. Even the servant wants to enjoy the master here, but in the spiritual world, that is the nature of this material world. And opposite to this, in the spiritual world, however, everyone has the service attitude to serve Lord. And Lord himself, who is the supreme master, he himself wants to serve his devotees. That is the beauty of a spiritual world, spiritual life. So who will not get attracted to live in such a wonderful, holy place like a spiritual world, where everything is so wonderful, so amazing. So that is why we are trying to hear the glories of the spiritual world. So, so we heard in our last presentation yesterday that spiritual world, we are like the lost son of a billionaire father. So we have to revive our eternal relationship with the Father so that we can become truly happy. So this relationship can be revived by the process of Krishna consciousness. So just like, uh, so this is the principle. Just like all the parts of the tree are nourished by watering the root. Similarly, if one simply serves the Supreme Lord, if one just get connected with the Supreme Lord, so automatically all his needs, all the nourishment he will get, spiritually, especially spiritual nourishment, spiritual needs, and even material also. Because material well-being follows spiritual well-being. So if somebody is spiritually situated nicely, if somebody is spiritually surcharged, spiritually nourished, when one is connected with the Supreme Lord, then automatically his material needs, material well-beings is well taken care. But if somebody who is not spiritually nourished, because spiritual nourishment is the root of all nourishment, if one is not spiritually nourished, so doesn't matter how much material facility one has, but still he will not be happy. He will always remain dissatisfied. He will experience some kind of vacuum in his heart, and he will be in miserable situation. He will hanker for something more, something more, something more. That's why they say dil mage more. Why dil mage more? Because Yeah, all the material things you have given to your dil, your heart, your everything, all the senses. You have filled all the senses with the sense objects, but it's still dil mage more. Why? Because you have not actually given the real substance to the heart, the soul. सेंसेस, हाँ इंद्रिया मांगे मोर नहीं बोलते हैं ना, कोई भी ऐसे नहीं बोलते हैं इंद्रिया मांगे मोर, सेंसेस मांगे मोर नहीं बोलते, दिल मांगे मोर. व्हाई? बिकॉज soul demands, that is the demand of soul. The soul is not satisfied because heart means within the reason of heart soul is living. So soul is dissatisfied. Instead of all kinds of material facilities, sense gratification, but still soul is dissatisfied. That's why the soul is hankering. Soul is asking more, more. Give me something more, something else, something else. But because of illusion, we try to give those material things only. Punah char, punah charvita charvanana. In Bhagavatam, this is explained. Prahlad Maharaj says that is the nature of this material world. Punah punah charvita charvanana. Chewing the chew it again and again. There is no juice, there is no taste, but still people are just uh, again and again. Punah punah charvita nam. This is from Shrimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. 7th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 30. That is the instructions, teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, a 5-year-old boy. He is giving his instructions to his school friends. Shri Prahladu Vacha Matirna Krishne Parata Sutova Mitho Abhipadet Grahavritana Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram Punah Punaschar Vitacharvanana. Prahlad Maharaj replied to his friends who asked him, no, he's replying to his father's question. Yeah, how did you get this mati for Krishna? How did you become Krishna devotee? So Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear father, I will tell you later on how I became devotee. But first, let me tell you why you can't become a devotee of Krishna. Please hear from me. He says, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. So here Prahlad Maharaj explains this fact that in this material world, everyone is just running after the same kind of third class, inferior quality happiness. And although they don't get any happiness, but still everyone is hankering after this. Why? The only reason is because they haven't got any real source, a real way by which they can experience true happiness. That is the reason. So if some or other, if one can come in contact with devotees of the Lord, then he can uh, really understand how to get real happiness. And yatha tarora mula nisheshanena nisheshanena tripyanti yat bhujauka sakha. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto, 31st number chapter, and verse number 14. So Narad Muni explains this. यथा तरोर्मूलनिःशेषणेन तृप्यन्ति तत् स्कन्दभुजोपशाखा प्राणोपहाराच्च यथेन्द्रियाणां तथैव सर्वारणम् अच्युतेज्या. The meaning is, as pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body. Simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are the parts of that Supreme Personality. Just like if somebody gives waters the root of the tree, then automatically all the branches, all the twigs, leaves, fruits, and flowers, everything is nourished. One need not to water each and every leaf of a tree, which of course it's not possible to do. So similarly, if one can, the root of this entire material world is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. He is the root. So if can worship Him, serve Him, so automatically everyone else is satisfied and one gets the nourishment. Another example is the stomach. All the parts of the body get strength by feeding the stomach. Right? Suppose if you are feeling weakness in your hands or in your legs, if you are feeling weakness in your eyesight, anything. So you don't feed your hand or legs or eye or ear, nose, no. You put the food within your mouth, it goes in the stomach, and automatically from stomach it gets digested, and from there it is all the energy and nourishment is supplied to all over the body. Similarly, those who know this art, this most valuable information, they get connected to the Supreme Lord, and from there, all the needs and demands are fulfilled. All the souls, part and parcels of the Lord are happy only by serving the whole. Just like twigs, leaves, branches are parts of the tree, just like each and every limb of the body is part of the body. So, when the root is served, all the part and parcels are served. Similarly, the souls are part and parcels of the Lord. So, as soon as the Lord is served, then all the part and parcels are served. That is why it is said, Jasmin tushte jagat tushtam. After when one satisfies the Lord, everyone is satisfied. And the example is given when Pandavas they were living in the forest on they were in their vanvas. So this Duryodhana he sent Durvasa Rishi after lunch. After lunch, he sent Durvasa Rishi go and visit our dear friends Pandavas. And the Durvasa Rishi he never travels alone. He has with his he has 10,000 disciples. So all of them they went in the forest, and Yudhishthira Maharaj yeah, and the Durvasa Muni and his 10,000 disciples, they told Yudhishthira Maharaj that we are going to take bath, and after taking bath, we are coming back. So arrange for our Bhandara. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, okay, my dear Prabhu, as you wish, what he can say. Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas and Draupadi, every one of them, they became very anxious. They became stressful. Yeah, how to do, what to do, how to arrange such a big Bhandara and for 10,000 people because they were living in the forest, they had nothing. So they had one Akshapatra uh, pot, so which had the capacity to feed any number of people. But the condition was as soon as Draupadi, if the Draupadi has taken lunch, then Akshapatra will not supply on that day. Next day again Akshapatra will work. So the Draupadi has already taken the food. So Akshapatra is also of no use. So that's why they became very perplexed. And Krishna, he was living in Dwarka. So immediately Krishna could understand the heart of his devotee because Krishna is present within the heart of his devotees. So Krishna could understand my devotees are in great danger. So Krishna immediately came in the forest and Krishna started asking, I am hungry, give me some food, give me some food. Draupadi and Pandavas, they said, my dear Lord, we are in great danger. We are in requirement of food for 10,000 people and you are asking for food to us. You should help us. So the Lord said, no, 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 no. First feed me. I am hungry. And Lord himself went inside the kitchen and took the Akshay Patra and found one part morsel of food grain and he took it. And as soon as he took it, he became completely satisfied and he just made that his stomach is completely filled. So as soon as the Lord had this, had his stomach filled, so immediately all the Durvasa Rishi and all his disciples, 10,000 disciples, they were taking bath and doing Gayatri. They were doing Gayatri Dhyan. Then every one of them, they started doing. Nobody could understand why they are getting this indication. And they felt that their stomach is completely filled. So they were thinking, now we are feeling, we have no hunger. Our stomach is completely filled. We don't know how it has happened. So, but if we go back to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and if Yudhishthira Maharaj had arranged the big feast for 10,000 of all of us, so if we don't eat, it will be a great offense. So let us go away. We don't will not visit him. So immediately they ran away from there on the spot, and Krishna and this is saved. So this is one example where we find as soon as the Lord is satisfied, so everyone else is satisfied. That is a fact. If Lord is satisfied with our action, everyone else is satisfied. All the demigods, all the rishis, all the living entities will supply everything. And what is the proof in Vedic culture? When people used to live God-centered life, they were following the principles of dharma. So in those days, people they didn't have any scarcity of food, grains, or rain, water, or any kind of resources, gold, silver, milk product, fruits, nothing. No scarcity was there. It is said that 5,000 years back, when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling the earthly planet, so he had sufficient food grains that he could feed all his citizens for next 11 years without working. If no citizens, no farmers goes to and produce any food grains, still Yudhishthira Maharaj had enough stock of food grains that he could uh, uh, feed for next 11 years. That was the stock, that was the resources Mother Earth used to provide, because everyone was living God-centered life. They were following the laws of dharma properly. That is why the Supreme Lord was pleased. So, earthly deity, Mother Earth was pleased. And so she was abundantly supplying all the resources, food grains, fruits, milk products, minerals, and everything she was providing. But during the reign of Prithu Maharaj's father, King Vena, so he was an atheist king. So he was atheist. He stopped all the sacrifices, all the yajna, all the dharma. He stopped. So because of that, Mother Earth became displeased. Lord Krishna became displeased, and Mother Earth became displeased, and so restricted all the supply. So everyone they were finding the scarcity of food grains, water, minerals, and everything. People were dying out of hunger. So this is a proof, and nowadays modern times we can see this. Those countries or those places or those people who are away from God consciousness, they suffer a lot. They have the scarcity of food grains. They have the scarcity of all these things. And even if they have, they get it from somewhere by stealing or by some crooked means. Still, they will not be able to live prosperly. They will not be experiencing the happiness. Still, they will fight among themselves. They will waste all the material products, resources, and this way the life remains miserable. So that is the meaning of, if we satisfy the Supreme Lord, automatically everything is satisfied. So the spirit souls in the spiritual world derive great joy in the loving service of to the Lord. So this is the spiritual world. You can see Hanumanji. She experiences such a great happiness, joy, that 24/7, he is just eager. Every moment he is eager to serve Lord Ramchandra. So otherwise, if he is not experiencing such a great bliss by serving Lord Ramchandra, how can he be so inspired to just be ready 24/7 every moment to serve Lord Ramchandra? And similarly, the many devotees, whoever is a pure devotee of the Lord, they get such immense joy and happiness by serving the Lord. Then they are eternally ready to serve the Lord. And they demand also, they only pray to the Lord for this, that please engage us in your service. We don't want anything. So that is the nature of living beings in the spiritual world, that they derive great joy. So the soul is a cooperator, not competitor of God. Soul is a dependent servant of God, not independent master. That is the constitutional position of the soul. We are ever dependent on the Lord. So that is why the soul can be happy only by rendering loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. And in the material world, where he chases after mirage of material pleasure and gets cheated, a soul can never be happy. In this material world, there is only mirage. Mirage means illusory happiness exists, no real happiness. So this is the last part of this session. How we can attain to that happy planet, spiritual world. Now, From last 2 days, we discussed about the miserable condition of this material world and blissful situation of the material spiritual world. So now, what is the way? How can we get visa and passport to go to that planet? Just like if you hear about America, Japan, and so wonderfully, and then you get attracted and you plan to go there and you apply for visa passport. Similarly, if somebody is interested to go to spiritual world, spiritual planet, then also one needs visa passport. Without visa passport, how can you go? So without permission, how one can ABCD? So this is the way ABCD formula. If you apply ABCD formula, then you can get visa and passport for spiritual world, kingdom of God, and you can go there and become eternally happy. Okay, so how many of you want to get visa and passport for spiritual world? Yes, only two devotees. That's all. Three. And what about others? Okay, anyway, 6, 7 devotees are desiring to get visa passport for spiritual world. So those who want, we can uh, write an application in their name so that their application may be granted, and we can tell the process what you have to follow. So please listen carefully. The process for applying to get the passport and visa for going back home, back to Godhead. And along with passport and visa, you also require ticket. Don't forget. So what is that ticket? That also we will tell you. The first listen ABCD, how to get visa and passport. Uh, so by learning to align with God and nature, as taught in the Vedic scriptures, one can have a healthy heart and return back to the spiritual world. That is the way, which is our original home where eternal society, friendship, and love can be experienced. Just like if you want to get visa and passport for going to some other country, then you need to go to embassy of that particular company, and they will tell you certain laws that there is scriptures. They will tell you there is scriptures, their law. So these scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, these scriptures are like the law books where the process has been explained how you can go to the spiritual world and where you can experience eternal love and friendship and joy. So how to align with God and nature? So that law is that one must align with God and nature. That means one must follow the rules and regulation laws given by God in the scriptures. And how this can be done? So for this, there is formula, ABCD formula. It is very simple formula, at least simpler than your mathematics and physics formula, which you from so many years, every time you have to give exam, you just write it down and remember so hardly, but still you forget the day of exam. But this ABCD formula is very simple. You can just remember it and just you need to follow this formula. Then you will get everything. You will be able to align yourself with God, and then you will be able to become eligible to go back to God. So what is A? A is Hare Krishna. A is association. Association means come in contact with the devotees of the Supreme Lord. Get associated with devotees. Association means you hear from them, you discuss with them, you try to understand the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Just like here, like this American and European devotees, they are sitting, and Srila Prabhupada, Acharya, a great Acharya, he is teaching them, giving them association. So when they came in contact with the association of Srila Prabhupada, such a great elevated Acharya, so immediately they became enlightened in spiritual consciousness. That is association that matters. And to give this association only, we have started this uh, Gita manual of classes, Bgml classes. So you need to come regularly, then you will get this association. And second is books. Books means Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, is books of knowledge, wisdom literature. And third is chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And fourth is diet. Diet means a proper diet, prasad. That whatever we eat, we should first offer it to Krishna. First of all, it should be sattvic, mode of goodness, and then it can be offered to Krishna without onion garlic. And then Mahaprasad, we should take the remnants of the food offered to Krishna, we should take. So that is diet. And then finally, E means engagement. We should have wonderful divine engagement, seva. That means we should, when we come in contact with the devotees in association, first of all, we learn the principles of Bhagavad Gita and principles of Krishna consciousness. Then gradually when we understand the philosophy, then devotees then engage us in some kind of service to the Supreme Lord. So in this way, it's very simple, A, B, C, D, E. If one can follow this ABCD formula, it's very simple and very easy to attain to the spiritual God. If you have good association, it will take you up, and bad association will take you down. So that is the difference. If you have good association, so you can go ahead. If you bad association, you may be slaughtered, butchered. Just like the parrot came in contact association with this butcherman. So it was slaughtered. When it came with a saintly king, the associate that assembly, great Rishi used to come and he used to narrate wonderful pastimes of the Lord, teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So this parrot also learned everything. So if a calf makes friends with another calf, he will drink milk. If the calf makes friends with a pig, it will eat stew. You see the difference. If calf remains in the association of calf and cows, so it will get the milk. If it makes friendship with pigs, then it will learn to eat stools. So we become what we associate with. We become what we associate with. The kind of association we keep, the same kind of personality we will develop. That is why association matters. Jaisa sang, vaisa pitam. Another is books. The kind of books we read, study, the same kind of knowledge we will have, the same kind of inspiration we'll get, the same kind of goals and aims we will set in our life. If we just go to modern school and colleges and universities, so we will, our goal and intentions and aims will be also like those who would like to become engineer, doctor, lawyer, that's all. And that will not that is not going to satisfy our soul. But we, along with this, if we also read Bhagavad Gita, then we can get full knowledge and philosophy. Then we can develop a desire to fix a certain real goal of that is good. So in this way, the books also matter. Chanting, chanting of chanting on japa beads and counting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a proven method for gaining peace of mind, satisfaction, and happiness. We have already discussed in our previous session how chanting relieves one from all mental anxiety and all kinds of nasty, dirty things. One becomes situated in mode of goodness where he can think about higher goals. This is most valuable gift to the sound is the subtlest element, which has the ability to reach the subtle elements like mind. The mind and intelligence can be rectified by this sound vibration of vibration. The effect of chanting. So when we eat food, it produces three parts. Turns into blood and distributed to whole body from heart. Turns into stool and urine flushed out of proper system. Goes to brain producing a consciousness depending on the type of food. So one who eats foods in the mode of goodness, his brain cells are nourished and his consciousness, sattvic consciousness is developed by which he can think of, he can have the intelligence to understand the philosophy of. That's why the sattvic food diet is also very, very important. The spiritual food called prasadam purifies our consciousness, creating a favorable situation for absorbing good things in life. That's why we highly recommend that we should try to make our foods sattvic, and then we should offer it to the Supreme Lord, and then take prasadam that will purify our existence, purify our mind, and it will help us to understand the philosophy in a better way. Finally, engagement. Everyone is talented in some field by Lord's grace. So we can engage in some service for Lord's praise. Just like Arjuna was a warrior, so he fought for Krishna. And a squirrel just assisted in building the bridge to Lanka. And Lord Ramchandra, even with this small service, he got attracted. So with the service, by serving the Lord, we can attract the mercy of the Lord. So that is the highest thing, engagement. A, B, C, D, E, all these things, if one can follow, then gradually one can become free from all material desires and attachments and rubbish things which we have in our heart, and then we can get promoted to the spiritual world. So by all these services, we can easily please the Lord and attain His mercy. That is the proper way. This is a poem. Oh my Lord, true beauty poem. Yes, I'm listening, so we have to read this poem. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Voice clear.
ABCDE का full form?
वही तो बताया अभी. ABCD, A for
Association,
association,
book distribution.
B for books, and C for chanting, D for diet means prasadam, E for engagement means service. Seva.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, revision हो गया.
Any other question?